Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you to our two witnesses for being here today. I'm going to start with you, Deputy Commissioner Jones. I know it was mentioned earlier talking about the BRICS issue and HR 1750, Defending Domestic Orange Juice Production Act, but I wanted to dig into this a little bit more. Representing Florida, it's hard to talk about Florida without mentioning, of course, sunshine, beaches, Disney, and our oranges. And it's been a pretty disappointing run here as of late for our producers in the Sunshine State. So, talking about the BRICS issue, it's not on your regulatory agenda. And given that, and we've been going through this issue for a very long time at this point, don't you think at this point it'd be easier just to pass HR 1750?
I would leave that to Congress to decide.
But I mean, your agency has had a petition since July of 2022, and it has received only positive comments, and still we don't have any action. Is there any reason that would prevent the FDA from updating the SOI to lower the BRIC standards?
And I'm happy to get our schedule to you. I did not come prepared with the schedule for that rulemaking, but I can tell you that rulemaking is under active development right now. And I can give you a schedule for our completion on that.
That's a pretty long runway, if I'm being honest. And it can't be that difficult. You have an entire staff behind you. They can't relay what that schedule or what that date looks like?
They would have to call back to HQ to get any that kind of information.
Okay, so if you don't have the schedule, then maybe you could answer why there's possibly a reason or an issue or a concern with lowering the BRIC standard from 10.5 to 10?
You know, it really gets to just overall resource constraints that we have. So we prioritize our work where the public health risks are the highest. And there is not a public health risk related to standards of identity generally. And so as a general matter, standards of identity, when we're trying to figure out where to deploy resources with where there's the greatest potential for risk reduction in public health in this country, standards of identity, such as this one, often get on a slower track than, for example, managing a microbiological contamination or an outbreak or a chemical
Right, and I understand this isn't, the sexiest topic on the planet, but here we are several years into this, and as you know, the BRICS requirement, as it stands, requires our producers and processors to blend imported product to meet the standard. And at the rate that we're going to lose the entire infrastructure of our domestic supply. So agriculture is not something you can turn on and off with a light switch. And so while I appreciate that it's not top of mind for you guys, there's a lot of producers around the country that are watching this very closely and have been waiting very patiently. So I would absolutely request that you get back to us with a timeline and some better answers when you appear before this committee. And I'm running short on time, so I want to jump to a dairy issue as well. So I know that the Dairy Pride Act has been mentioned here today. One of the provisions of the legislation requires that FDA issues guidance explaining how it will carry out the other provisions of the bill regarding the enforcement of dairy terms. Now, I know that your agency has drafted guidance, draft guidance, but I'm concerned that it doesn't get us to where we need to be as far as preventing plant-based alternatives from being labeled as milk. This is a fight that has been going on, again, for years. Now, to my knowledge, the FDA has never finalized this guidance. Is there a plan, and do you have a timeline?
So we are going to finalize this guidance. I don't have a timeline for it. There are two issues that we are working through. One relates to when can a plant-based milk alternative use the term milk in its labeling, and what should such a product say about nutritional equivalence. So we're working through both of those issues, and ultimately we'll be able to finalize the guidance when we have landed both of those.
So you haven't been able to give me a timeline on either the BRICS issue or now the dairy term issue. I need you to give me a timeline of when you're going to get those answers back to us.
Be happy to do that.
No, right now.
Oh, we can give you a timeline on both of those by next week.
By next week?
Yeah.
We'll call it COB Monday of next week. How about that?
That's fine.
All right. With that, I yield back. Thank you.